Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about frustration and what it looks like to recognize and take responsibility for it. So I have a friend who I am really close with, and this friend is currently going through financial struggles, and I was talking with them today about it, and he's having trouble making rent for the month. And I've talked with him generally about like what does it look like to maybe transition into a different job, and so we've definitely made some progress, and he's on his own journey. But I still feel responsible to help him, to support him. Now, in the past, that's been offering money. It's also just generally been offering my ear and offering support and suggestions and encouragement and guidance to whatever extent I can, and just allowing our conversations to focus on him, which is fine. And so today, I really didn't know what I could do to help. And so I did somewhat set a boundary by saying like, hey, honestly, dude, the best I can do right now, because he's considering taking out a loan, and I'm just like, I know how much of a struggle it is to go down that route, and I really do see a lot of growth, and maybe I'm being overly accepting and not critical enough. But what I offered was, well, if you have a job by the end of the month, then I will give you a loan at 5% interest. Now, after saying that, what's frustrating is that I really want him to be able to do this on his own. Like it's hard for me to have to continue to continue to try to give and give and give. And so another thing had happened right after. Another friend, him and I are trying to meet up before I moved to Tucson. And I just felt myself being so irritated because this friend was being was not being specific with where he was at, and he wasn't sending a lot of confirming texts to clarify like what we're gonna do. And I told him I was free at 2, and now, and I just never, like, we didn't really fully get things in order. And so I felt like, what's happened in the past is I have this tendency to put my life on hold for others and not, and just wait around. Now I'm trying to develop skills like creating this video. It's like, well, I still haven't hung out with my friend, and honestly, that's not like, if I'm just either way, I started to feel a lot of frustration towards the fact that our text messages had been spotty, and then I was able to take a step back. And so it's like these past few hours have been really frustrating for me. And one of the really cool realizations I was able to come to is, whoa, what am I frustrated at? And let me make sure, because what I realized was I was pointing my frustration externally. So I was frustrated at my brother, at my friend, for not doing what he needs to do to make sure that he's on his own feet. That's what I was telling myself. Like, gosh, it's Like, can he just be more responsible? But really, and then when I'm like with my friend, it's like, well, honestly, what's funny is like if the one I was hanging out with or planning to, if I didn't have to deal with this initial frustration, this was me. I wouldn't care. I would be fine. It's like, and so two things. One, with my in the offering money situation, like, you know what I'm actually frustrated with? It's really hard for me to feel like I have this pressure to make sure that other people are okay and not allow them to go through the have responsibility for their own actions. I'm just like, I have this desire to help instead of allowing them to do their own thing and live their own life. And I'm not sure how to balance that. I'm not sure how, like, where I can be supportive and where I'm self-sacrificing and where I'm trying to help them to really help myself. And so, is it fair for me to offer up this money? Or is that just allowing them to be complacent? Is that making me an instigator of their own, an encourager of what they're struggling with? Like, should I take a step back and allow their pain to come to, allow the pain that is connected with inaction to appear? I don't know how to walk that line. So that's a realization. And then the second was, let's pay a bit more attention to when we're frustrated, because I think that I'm not frustrated at my friend. I mean, maybe it's a little hard to feel like things could be communicated better, but in all reality, it's not that big of a deal. And I truly mean that. I'm not that hurt by it. And that's okay. And so to be able to make that realization of like, oh, okay, where am I placing this? So yeah, those are some thoughts on frustration. I don't want to, I want to better understand why I feel so responsible to help my friend with his decision, like with not have to feel the full consequences of his decisions. Maybe it's because I feel like he wasn't given the best support to make the best decisions. And so it's like, how can I support him in making good decisions while reducing the amount of suffering? Or is it best to not reduce the suffering at all? I think the what we came to, because I can give the loan. That'll be okay. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. So that's my thoughts for today. And I got a comment about asking the question of like, what is it that encourages my exploration of psychology? And I was thinking a lot about that today. So that'll probably be one of my future videos coming up soon. It's a hell of a thing to unravel. But I really appreciated the question and I'm thinking about it. So thank you for asking. And yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I really do hope that you are embracing the life that we have to live, whatever that means for you. We're all on a path, and to introduce compassion into it is going to be one of the most productive ways of moving forward. So let's be compassionate to ourselves. Let's be compassionate to others. We're all in this together. All right, much love, and thank you for listening. I'll catch you next time.